So there is kind of a general recording on this session done, so in case any technical devices break down, so you will get a recording in any case, and if all works out, you will also get the recording of this live session. So the difference basically is that we may take up some of your individual question, and the general recording just covers what I will present you now. So we'll first introduce you to the basics of project management in Atlas 7, because that's what you need to know also to set up a team project. And then we will particularly talk about 3 specific scenarios: the distributed teamwork, so if you sit at different locations but work with the same document or with some common set of document, or a different scenario would be you all start out with different documents at the different sites, and then you start putting your projects together. And the third scenario is if you have a server available where all documents are stored and all team members can access documents on the server. And so I will first introduce that via a presentation, and you will get the presentation and also some handouts from the training center, or access to the handout and some materials after the webinar. And once I introduce these this in an overview format, we will move into Atlas, and I will show you how it works there. So let me open the presentation. At the presentation, you can, if you don't have the software, you can always download a free version at least to look at the presentation again. The commonalities of team projects. What I would advise is that you do select a project administrator, a designated person, not an IT person. There needs to be a person who knows basically Atlas the best, and who does all the things like setting up the project, merging projects, distributing projects. So have a look for somebody in your team that can take on this role. I mean, it's not, merging projects and adding or setting up projects doesn't take ages. Once you know what you're doing, it's not that difficult. So it's not a huge chunk of it that this person is going to get. Now, but especially with teams, it's important that one person is in charge and not everybody kind of does whatever she thinks or he thinks is right. I will point out the various bits and pieces where it might get a bit dangerous if everybody does what they think is necessary. Most of the things can be fixed, so it's not if you go down the wrong path you can't get back, but you know how it is. Once it's wrong and getting things fixed, it always takes time, hassle, and nerves and energies. There are 2 libraries where you store your data. So once you add data to a project, the data will be copied into what Atlas calls a library, basically a data repository, like a data archive. The Atlas offers 2 archives, one for your personal projects, it's My Library, and for the team projects, Team Library. It's not the end of the world if you use My Library for a team project, but that's why it's there. It's for team projects. You can move the library to, for example, a central location, and that's something you may not want to do with your own personal library, but with a team library, this is what you need to do. I just have an urgent question here. We are muted by an organizer. I can't hear anything. Well, you are muted, but that only means that that you can't talk to me, and that's also on purpose that I closed your microphones, because because otherwise we get feedbacks of the different audio channels. So muting is all right. That doesn't mean that you should be able to hear me. The others still okay? Jason, Donna, you have your hands raised. Because I don't get any feedback in the sense that, because the system will tell me if my audio connection fails. Oh, okay. Person figured it out what the problem was. Okay, so let's continue here. Yeah, I've been talking about the library, and that when you work in a team, use the team library, and we will see in Atlas. I will tell you some more about it once we're actually in the software. You can create user accounts, and if you work in a team, you should do so. Otherwise, every entry will be super. Yeah, the standard user is super, and if you don't log in or create accounts, then you can't distinguish what every person in your team is doing. So I will show you how to do this in Atlas. When you transfer projects, general rule of thumb, use the copy bundle file. So I'm introducing these terms now already, so I will repeat them a couple of times. You will see how that will work in Atlas if you haven't heard this yet. Yeah, so always remember, project backup, project transfer is always a copy bundle file. And let me tell you some more once. Well, there will be some images, and that will help you understand. Yeah, and then the other commonality is that you will start merging various sub-projects into what I call a master issue. That's all of these issues that are listed here. I will do show in Atlas how it actually works. So let's kind of get a grip of this library issue. Yeah, starting with the single user, but just to start with the basics, and we soon move on. Yeah, so you add documents to a library, and my library for a single user, team library for a team project. What this image shows is basically this library is a folder on your computer. Atlas does create this folder when you install the program, so it's already existing on your computer. And then you start saving your project, and that's going to be saved into an HU file. That's the Atlas project file. That's called hermeneutic unit. And that's basically due to the history of the software. It was a research project at the Technical University in Berlin, and so that's why we have the fancy name hermeneutic unit. Yeah, they looked at also hermeneutic methodological tradition when they created the software. And the hermeneutic unit does contain everything that you do to your data, but not the data from the library. So we have an external referencing system, like you probably know from EndNotes or any library referencing or reference manager or the bibliographic software, literature software you have. Yeah, it doesn't include all the documents because it would be a huge file. So Atlas does the same. So the documents are archived in the library, and you have your HU file that stores everything that you do with your data. The coding, your comments, the memos, the networks, so everything that, all the analysis steps that you do. And if you want to transfer the project, want to back up your entire project, then we need the project in a box. This is a copy bundle file. Yeah, so a bundle of all files plus your HU file. So the copy bundle basically takes all the files that's needed for that particular project and puts it in a box. And this is a compressed file, like you may know WinZip, WinRAR. And so it's a bit smaller than the sum of all your documents, and it's easy to transport. Rather than, all the single books or the single files, you just take your box. We get the question sometimes, do we have a library for every project? No, there are only two, for personal projects and for team projects, where all the documents of various different projects are stored similar or basically in the same way as in a library, where you find books for all kinds of different projects, and you basically pick what you need for your project. And this is what the copy bundle file does. Yeah, it just picks what it needs from the library and packs it for you to take along. So if we now start looking at our first team scenario, yeah, the project admin sets up the project, adds the document to the library, and then creates a copy bundle file and distributes it to each of the team members. And so now everybody is fiddling around by him or herself. It's one person doing it, setting up the project, and then sending out the copies. And we will create a copy bundle file, and you will see how that works in Atlas. It's basically just a menu option you need to know of. The important thing, why this is so important that this one single person is doing it, is because at the moment when a document is added to the library, well, several things happen. The document, well, it's copied physically. If you have doc files or docx files, they are converted to rich text, and Atlas keeps a rich text version. Yeah, so Atlas can't deal with a native doc or docx format, so everything what you see later on in Atlas is going to be rich text. It also checks your document, whether the format if you have an OpenOffice document, or if you didn't save it as a rich text, Atlas will reject the ODP format, but that means you have to save it as a rich text in OpenOffice. But Word file Atlas can convert. Or if you have audio files, video files, Atlas can't deal with it. It will tell you at this moment of adding the documents to the project. The other things that are happening is that each document becomes a unique ID. It's a technical thing, something lots of digits and numbers, and it's like a fingerprint. So if the red person adds 10 documents to the library and the green person would do the same, then these 10 documents would get 10 different fingerprints, and the 10 documents, even if they're the same content, same document name, would also add documents to the library. Then we would have 20 documents for Atlas. The document the second person adds get different fingerprints. So that's why it's so important it's done at one central location. Otherwise, we get different fingerprints for the documents, and Atlas, in the first instance, will not recognize them to be the same. There's a fix in the software now, because it did happen that teams did make this mistake, so it can be fixed, but knowing about that, so you hopefully don't have to fix this. The other scenario is if you work at different sites. So if all the documents are clearly different at each different site, then everybody can set up their own project at the particular site. And when it's time to put everything together, everybody creates a copy bundle file, sends it to the project admin. That person installs the bundle files and merges the bundle to create a new master file. And that can be sent out to all team members again. And so that can go a couple times around, meaning everybody starts coding a few documents, sending copy bundle files, creating a first master, then new documents will be added and so on. So it doesn't have to be the end process. Yeah, you can repeat this a couple of times. That would be that scenario. And then you have the server-based team scenario. Then documents are added to a central location everybody can access. So there's no need for copy bundle files because everybody accesses the same documents on a server location. The admin creates a master HU. Everybody accesses, can be saved on the server as well. And everybody accesses the HU file, makes a copy. And my advice is always, well, the HU kind of stands for the project name, but everybody adds the name or initial. So we need 3 different names for the HU. So when it's time to merge again, so not everybody has the same name. So everybody needs to work within that different HU file, and that needs to be merged. As mentioned before, merging doesn't take that much time. My dog wants something from me, I'm not sure. Let me put that dog away for a moment, so sorry about that. So that's live. We won't have dog bites on the on the general recording. So the dog is out of the way. So you have some time now to look at this image and at this part I haven't been talking about, so that we can actually move the library location to a shared location. This shared location should be like a proper server, not a Dropbox, not you know, a cloud device that is like SkyDrive or something like that. Because what's common for these SkyDrives, cloud devices, Dropboxes, they're synchronized with different computers that access them. The idea of the library is that Atlas manages the files for you, that you don't have to be concerned about them. Atlas takes care of them. If you put the library to a location where synchronization is happening, then Atlas cannot manage your files anymore, or something is basically mixing up with Atlas trying to manage your files. We have documented this now on different places because it does screw up projects. So please keep in mind, a server, when it means a shared location, this should not be a cloud device that gets synchronized across different devices. Yeah, then you're going to mix up your project. So basically, these are the scenarios, yeah, the team scenarios, the most common ones. And let's go and look into Atlas now, how you would realize that in ATLAS.ti. So I have, well, this is a project I'm later going to be merging with another one. So we have a project here done by Silke, a German person, and we're going to merge this project with some data, person called Berta, and she has some data from the US. So that's going to be our example project. But let's start a completely new project where we add documents, and we'll see how this process works. Well, I'm still in the habit of clicking on documents. You could also click on project, add documents. So basically you get the same sub menu, and yeah, more to access this menu here. So you see the different options to get documents into ATLAS.ti. So in your team project, it should be the team library, basically. Once documents are in the library, well, you can also add them from the library. The import transcript survey data option, well, that would be if you have F4 transcripts or Trandana transcripts, if you want the synchronization of documents with audio files, and that would be the survey data option. So if Atlas says import, then Atlas does import the text information. Yeah, every time it says add, that means the documents will be copied and put into the library. There is an option to work with external documents still. That was the basic version 6 standard option, where you always had a link between your HU and the document. But that link wasn't managed by Atlas, that link was managed by the user, and often that didn't work out well because the user weren't aware of this external link. Yeah, that is, well, it's still there, the option, if people have a very large document bases like video files that they don't want to actually copy to the library and they want to keep them external. But again, if you want to work with external documents, there's another layer of administration on top. You have to be aware of what documents are, and Atlas cannot manage them for you. Now, if I now add a few documents to the team library, then I can also show you how that works in the taking some documents from my normal workshops here. And now you see the processor documents are checked. And this is when you would get an error message if a file is not accepted. Now this takes a bit longer. You see it's docx files, they need to be converted. And I will show you later. Yeah, so all these 7 files have been successfully added. And you see now here they are in the team library. Yeah, I opened the primary document manager by clicking on pdocs. The documents are numbered consecutively. Don't mind this numbering now. This is for my workshop context, so I can actually talk about which document we are now referring to, because documents can be moved in their positions. And if people do that in a workshop context, then if I say P3 may not be the same on all computers. But this little exercise here, now moving documents around, was crucial in version 6 when you worked in teams, because Atlas remembered documents based on this number here. Because of the ID the documents have now, it's the fingerprint. The order of the documents does not play a role on it anymore. Atlas recognizes the documents by this unique fingerprint. Whether somebody in your team fiddles around or by accident or said, oh, this is what I want to code now, and you put it on top, and then somebody else does something different, doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, so that then you're free to do that. You see here that the documents are now in the team library, and I'm logged in as Susanne. So maybe as next step, I show you where to create a user account and how to log in. I haven't started Atlas now in administrative mode. Let me just go through the motions and you see what this means if I don't. You find the user management under the tools menu. And I want to create a new user. I can go through the motions, but when I want to save it, Atlas is going to tell me that this information cannot be saved to the user base. The user information is saved within the program folder, and starting with Windows Vista, Windows is not allowing a regular user to save something there. So I just start creating a new user. Usually, I'm Tom, and the password you're not going to ask for. I'm just typing 123. Only you want to password protect your user account. So it's seldomly this is desired. So that's why it's not a standard option. You would have to set or change something in the user ini file if you really want your user account password protected. You can password protect your ATLAS. So if you have sensitive data, you can do so. And now with also the library and the managed documents and this unique ID, and Atlas does pack the document in a specific way, so your projects are even safer than before. And if you then password protect your HU, then you're on the safe side. So give everybody administrative rights, even if you work with student assistants. They can't do much wrong. It's only creating problem. A standard user can only open HUs the person has created, him or herself, or you need to add this person as co-author and so on. So I would just give everybody administrative rights. It's just within Atlas, and it's not something you can do terribly wrong if you have administrative rights. So if I now go and want to save, oh, did I? So I did tell you something. Usually if I haven't started the software, probably I should be getting the message that this cannot be saved to disk. But it could also be that, because sometimes they change little quirky things in the software, that it's actually no need anymore to start the software with administrative rights, which would be actually brilliant, because then you wouldn't have to go through this hassle. So actually I could now create this account. And let me show you what I meant. I now clicked on the Atlas icon, and here this is German, but it's in English, it's run as administrator. And up until like the last service pack, it only worked to create a user account if you run the software as an administrator. So try it. If you can save it, fine. Then you don't have to go through this option to run the software as administrators to do this. So now I've just created the user account. And if I want to work as Tom, I have to switch the user because I'm not currently logged in as Susanne. So I go here and use Tom. You see I'm not asked for the password. And if Tom always is working on this laptop, well, then you can leave the automatic login. But if different people work on the same computer, then you can take out the automatic login, and then every time you open Atlas, you will be asked to log in. So you cannot forget it. So you can't, by accident, work under somebody else's name. Yeah? Well, I leave it out because next time I will want to work under my name again. So you will be greeted this afternoon here. If you work evenings or weekends, you will be greeted differently. But in the morning, you will be greeted with good morning. And the other ones, I won't tell you. You probably will figure out one day or the other. Okay, so now everything I do, let me just create a new code here. Will be stamped with the author name. And this is what you want. If you work in a team, you want to see who created which code, who created which quotation, who created what kind of memo, and so on. Yeah. So that's what it means creating a user account and logging in. So up to this point, maybe a short thinking break. Any questions up to this point? I showed you how to add documents to the library, and I created the user account, logged in, I created an object. What I'm going to show next is some issues about this library, where it is and how you can actually work with it, and those issues that are relevant for teams. So I do have a question here. Is the user account only needed if people are using the same computer? No, it's generally needed if you work in a team, because the standard user is super. It's the super user. And if you work on 5 different computers, everybody works as super. And if you merge the projects, then you don't see who has done what. Yeah. So I generally, in a team, I recommend everybody creates a user account on his or her computer. That's not something the admin, by the way, can do. It needs to be done on the personal computer one is working on, because it's saved in the program folder of the computer, and as it looks like they actually have changed something now. So you see the actual build is 7091, and I think June there comes 92. See this where you can see whether you have the up-to-date version. So let me say a few more words about the library manager. I now went to Documents, Data Source Management, and I open the library manager. It takes a while, because I have a number yeah, of documents in here. So you see here the tab here for my library and the team library tab. And the computer is a bit slower because of the recording, yeah, because I'm recording this session live. It does take up quite some computer power. So it's not necessarily, this is a new computer, so it's not Atlas that is usually that slow. Yeah, so here I see also the number of documents, almost 500 documents and 273 megabyte in this library. So you can look up documents. You can also actually clean out documents by validating your library. If I have documents in the library but no HU for them anymore, I have that quite often because I do need to look at HU files or at projects. People send me copy bundle files. And then of course after a case is finished, I get rid of the user copy bundle files, and I do clean up my library from time to time. Yeah. So and that is something you should also do from time to time. So now I had seven documents with no reference, and they will be removed from the library. And this way you keep it clean. What I want to show you also what to do if basically where the libraries are at by standard, the standard folder. Just need to wait a second here. It's under the extras menu. Yeah, so you can manage the library location, and that would be an option that you need to go to when you want to move the library, yeah, to a different location. This also shows you where the standard locations are. So I'm the local administrator here on this computer. So it's under the currently logged in user, local administrator, and then up data roaming. This is usually a hidden folder. The team library is under public documents. So that's the difference. This is a currently logged in user, and the team library is under public documents. You can click on the file loader symbol and move the library to a different location. Yeah, so all the documents then are moved to a different location. You do find some explanatory text here on top. But this gives you an idea of where ATLAS stores the documents. If your entire system is backed up, or if you want to make sure that the libraries are backed up, yeah, this is the location you need to give to your IT personnel if you have regular backup, or you want to say, I want these folders for sure in the regular routine backup. Or if you do it yourself, you know this is the location you need to back up to have a backup for your library. And we had issues like computer crashed, hard disk crashed, people installed ATLAS again, but if the library is not there anymore and people don't have copy bundle files, then they have the HU files. And then what? Yeah, they have the HU file but can't access the documents. So this is kind of a being double safe. If one issue is having copy bundle files, you're safe already. But if you then also back up your libraries, then that's kind of your double security. I didn't move anything, but and then I just thought I did. And then you need to tell, if you move as project admin, move the library to a different location, then you need to tell your team members to set the library location. And all of this is actually also written in the documentation you will get with the course. Yeah, on a few pages. This is summarized with some screenshots, mouse clicks, and so on. Yeah, so your one person is moving the library, and the others have to relocate their ATLAS to point to this new location. That's what you do with set library location. So basically, this is all you need to know here in the library manager. Yeah, and just to like I said, there are some repair kind of issues. If documents have been in the wrong library, you can move it to the other library. If it's in my library and you want to tell, oh, it should be in the team library. And here there's an issue, which is all gray now because it doesn't apply, to merge documents. It's not even active now because it doesn't apply, but there is a fix under miscellaneous if two people add the same documents at two different locations. As I mentioned before, all these things can be fixed, but because you listen to the webinar now, so you hopefully can know how to do it properly from the start. So, so we have been doing some work. Here, let me just add, Tom is adding one more code here. Caps lock still. Now segment, whatever. And again, if we look at the quotation manager, we see Thomas also, and we get the code here. Guys, this is also a way via the quotation manager. And if there's some questions you want me to address, we can let me know via your question pane in terms of intercoder reliability, because that's a qualitative way of actually doing it, working with the quotation manager and comparing here quotations, authors, and codes via this menu. So we have done some work, and now I save the project. And it's not saved yet. You can do save or save as. And well, I put it just into my special topic team webinar folder. Well, I just call it master. That's like a common term of, you know, this is when you set up the project, it's kind of a master.ti-June, and then people start adding names when it's their particular sub-projects. So now we have the ti-June file, and it's somewhere in my folder system. But the ti-June file is not enough. You cannot take just the ti-June file and go to another computer, because then you won't be able to see the documents here. So in the next step, we need to go and say save copy bundle. If you have an older version 7, this is being hidden somewhere. It's somewhere here. It says just copy bundle. But to make it really obvious, it has been moved now here to kind of say, okay, you have to save your project file, but if you want to save your entire project, you need to go to the copy bundle window. And so this is saving now your ti-June file and the documents that you want to include into this box. It will tell you the uncompressed size is 10.2 megabyte plus the ti-June, and the total, and what the total size here is of your copy bundle file. So basically, you can do some selection here. You can also create partial bundles by working with primary document families, setting them as filters. Then you can also create smaller bundle files, or if you don't want to give the entire bundle to somebody, or if you have really, really big projects and anything that reaches a gigabyte, 2 gigabytes will be quite difficult. So then we suggest to create smaller chunks of sub-copy bundle projects if you want to transfer them. So create copy bundle, and well, I put it here again in my special topic folder. It has the same name and has the extension ATLAS.CB, Atlas Copy Bundle. And now I save it here. Yeah, so it has a video file, so that's why it actually is quite large. Let me go to the file manager, so you see what I've just been saving. I've saved the ti-June file, and I've saved the copy bundle file. If I go to the different view here with the large symbols, yeah. So here I have the project in the box, and here I have the ti-June file. And this is what you need as backup or to send it to somebody else. Once, talking about big files, you may wonder, do I need to send this copy bundle file if it's huge every time? So once everybody has the documents in their team library, then it's enough to just exchange ti-June files. You only need to create new copy bundle files or partial files if you edit documents, so if you modify document sources, like a text file here, or if you add new documents. And then you can also decide to create partial bundle files that only include the new documents if the project it's getting too big. Having said something about Dropbox's cloud devices, For transferring projects, yeah, or distributing copy bundle files, you may use a Dropbox. Then you can upload it to Dropbox or SkyDrive. Tell everybody this is in our common Dropbox, please download it. But you should not work in a Dropbox. Also, don't add documents from the Dropbox. Always put them locally, copy them to your desktop or anywhere else, and then add them to a project. The same, take your copy bundle file, save it to your computer locally, then unpack it and then work. So only use those devices like Dropbox, SkyDrive, and so on for project transfer, because you don't want to attach it to an email if it's 20 megabytes or something like that. Yeah, so that's when you can use Dropboxes, but only that. So let me just keep an eye on time. What I need to show you is how to merge and how to unpack the copy bundle file. Let me first merge two projects, and then basically I will pack a bundle file from the merged project, and then I will show you how to unpack that one. So we have these German data newspaper analysis, and you see all these German newspaper names, and this is my old sample data from version 6 in the book still. And basically, didn't pay attention to that, should fix that at some point. Here, Dirk has added the documents to my library, not to the team library. But as mentioned, it's not the end of the world if a team works in my library, but then moving the stuff to the server wouldn't be a good idea. So everything that is related to the project, saving, creating bundles, unpacking bundles, and so on, you find under the project menu, also the merge option. So you always merge ATLAS, even if you don't have the data at hand, or the admin doesn't have the data at hand. You always merge the ATLAS files, but of course, if you want to access the data at some point, you need access to the documents, but it can also be a dry exercise, so to speak. So we want to merge now the US data to this, and I'll copy this folder here. So we need purchase US data, and then we click on next. So we get to this window where we have to define a merge strategy. They have different documents and assuming a common set of codes. Yeah, so you set a main strategy, and now I just change this now and watch the buttons on the right hand side. So if it's same PDs, same codes, Atlas assumes you want to unify primary documents, unify quotation codes, and so on. But if you don't want to unify PD families, you can also ignore. So you can do some or add them, whatever. You can also you can also do some fine tuning here. So if it's same PDs, different codes, well, the buttons change again. Atlas kind of provides the standard option that would, in most cases, make sense, but you can do some fine tuning. And here we have different PDs, same codes. What people are always afraid of is say, okay, we started out with a common set of codes, but now Berta added some codes because some didn't fit to the US data, and Silke added some codes because she needed them for the German data. Then these codes will not be lost. The option here, same codes, means that Atlas unifies all the codes that have the same name and adds all codes that are different. Yeah, if I would choose this option, different PDs and different codes, then Atlas, well, we kind of tell Atlas all of our codes are different, and then Atlas is just, a technical device, doesn't think. It's like, well, if you tell me all codes are different, then if I discover a code that has basically the same name, I'm duplicating it. So Atlas then adds a number. So then you would have all your commonly agreed on codes double, and and would have to merge them again. So that's not such a good idea. The same also if you have, let's say you have 10 documents that are the same, and everybody added 3 new documents. You would also use the option same PDs, same codes. That means all the documents that have the same ID, same name will be added, will be unified, sorry. All codes with the same name will be unified, and everything that's kind of left over will be added to your project. It's not going to be left out. So don't be afraid of that. So that's often the kind of the hurdle here, that people don't know which option to choose. And then you click finish. So everything else is done by Atlas. This goes rather quickly. And it does intend on this going to not include the merge. So if there's any issue, no, because there's some supercode here, that the supercodes are queries, and that can be put together. Atlas kind of will tell you. Say yes, it's okay. If you cannot calculate that supercode, then I will leave this out. So you get this report if you, it was activated, the option. You can also deactivate. What I do check with the report is not every little detail. If you have a long project, this is a lot. What I do check is the last bit, the plausibility. Yeah, you kind of know what you started out with. So does it make sense that we have in the end 15 documents? So if you expect 10 documents and you suddenly have 20, then you know there's something going on with the duplication. Yeah. Does it make sense that I have now 92 codes, and so on? Yeah. So this kind of gives you a plausibility check. You can save the report, or just say, okay, I've seen this now. That seems to be okay. That seems to be correct. So if you now click on the primary document manager, I see now that, now I want to move the also now here, that I have Silke's and Berta's documents in here. And also if I click on the codes, somehow it's slow again on me right now. So now the code manager opens. Yeah, here it makes sense to have it in detail view, because then we see which, so actually here in this case, all the codes that were already there, they were created by Silke. So we don't see a difference, so Berta didn't add any new codes. But let's take a look at the quotations. Or did I mistake? No, this is, so here, this is all Silke coded, all the German documents, and then the Berta is here, the author for the US American newspaper articles. So in this particular scenarios, the codes were already kind of set by Silke as the author, and then the others use these codes, and only if one person adds a code, a new author will appear. So you can compare the difference when you look at the quotations. What you can also actually do if you work in a team and you start out with some, you have 20, 30 codes in mind, you set up an author team. And then maybe when the kind of so-called project admin is setting up the project, uses the author team. So, this is what we do in common, and these are our team codes. And then even if the administrator, is also the person coding, but also has a second login with the personal name, and then starts working. So then you also can see, okay, these are the codes we started out with, and then we add codes right and left to the project. So this is how merging works. It's not that difficult, and once you know which options to click, it also doesn't take that long. So actually what I didn't do before, which actually I do advise to do, is before merging I usually save, because it's quickly enough that you forget. You just click on save, Control S, or click on the save button, and you have now Silke's and Berta's project all together. So to be on the safe side, it would be better actually to have saved the project before merging. Now, I didn't save by accident, and we have the 4th of June. That's how we write the date in Germany. So you have now, this is the master of, well, not just the German data, of our newspaper analysis, and from this particular date. And now I create a copy bundle file. It now takes all the document it needs from the library. Again, because I'm recording, it takes a bit. And I click on the create a bundle option and add it to my special team again. And then it tells me copy bundle finished and saved. So let's close Atlas now. And show you how to unbundle. So I have my master file. So you can just double click. So this is, you send it to somebody. So we assume this has been sent now to somebody else. And you double click on the copy bundle file. That opens Atlas at the copy bundle window. And as I deactivated the automatic login, I will be asked to log in. Now I activate it again. So I will be greeted. And now Atlas opens it to the copy bundle window. While it opens the window, it does check whether the documents are already in your library. So as I'm still on my computer, I didn't change computers here, it did already check that the documents are already in the library. That's why it tells me 0 documents are unbundled. And so don't be afraid if it says, like, oh, it doesn't unpack anything. Well, if it's already there, it doesn't have to overwrite everything, unless you do a restore. Yeah, if you do a restore, then this assumes, well, I don't want to get rid of all the old versions. What happens here, if I would send you this copy bundle file now, and I've created it on my desktop actually, then you would see a red button here. And the red means path cannot be created. So for your ATU file, Atlas assumes the file here that was used to create the bundle. So if you see something red here, the quick solution, and we do sometimes get messages, oh, I can't unpack because I see this red box there. So basically, you choose a different location, and let me now, I just create a new folder. I just call it Tom's computer now. So assuming this is just So if I click on a different location, now it's all green. It was yellow before because it already recognized I do have the project at this location, and it still recognizes that the documents are in my library, and so it won't unbundle them. And at this stage, of course, I can also, if I should have done this before. Let's do this again. I could also add the name here, of the person now unpacking the bundle to continue to work. You could, so in my case, it would be, let's say it's F for the initial, and then I save it directly under this new name, and I click on Unbundle, and Atlas should open. You see newspaper analysis SF, and this is now saved on Tom's computer. So I've mixed up names here quite a bit, but I think you can, hopefully you could kind of follow. So where the ATU file is stored, in reference to if you still a new version 6, it doesn't matter anymore. The ATU, your team members can store the ATU file wherever they want. Have an Atlas analysis folder or something. And the documents are referenced at this fixed location. This is now the library. So this is the input I wanted to give. Are there any questions? Yeah, we looked also about some of the technicalities that are involved working with the different scenarios. I showed you what needs to be done. So I do have a question here. Should each project have its own library, or can you have documents from multiple projects in a single library? There's only there's my library for your single user projects basically, and there's the only one team library. So this is basically one folder. It's called library, but technically it's a folder on your computer where all documents will be added to. Yeah, so it's only so you can't create 10 different libraries. There's one library for your team project where all documents reside in or stored in that you have added to the team library. And if you would alongside have own projects or in the future, you will have all documents from all the different projects in that particular either my library or the team library. Yeah, so it's 2 folders on your computer that will host your documents. So any more questions? I know you need to type in, that might take a while. I mean, you can also, if somebody doesn't want to type, if you raise your hand, if you want to say something, I can also open your mics. I mean, a single mic, not microphone, I mean. And you can ask your question verbally and not in typing. But if I do not seem to get any more questions, well, in one sense, it might mean that you have understood everything what I explained to you. You do get the video for later review, and the material. Let me just. This is the outline. This is a handout in case if you haven't got it yet. As yeah, it does. You see, it does show it more in words, and you can get some screenshots. And the Dropbox issue I do explain, and the do's and the don'ts, and what you need to do. So you do have some detailed instructions at your fingertips as well in the handout. Yeah, then thanks for listening, and I wish you good luck with your dream project. And we are there with the help desk if there are any more questions you may have or that arise during the project actually. And maybe one last issue in case you're not aware of that, because some people kind of told us that they didn't know about it, even though we have advertised it now at a number of places, newsletters and so on. We do have our first Atlas conference in September in Berlin. We'll probably follow other ones. The sessions are already online. We still have submissions open, so we can still fit some papers. We can run parallel sessions, so adding some more sessions we can manage. So, but we have, I think, kind of a nice round plan for the conference already. So take a look, or also watch in the future. I think we will also put some stuff online for some sessions, talks, and so on, so you can participate even if you can't join us in Berlin. Okay, I wish you a nice remaining day, evening, wherever you are in this world. Bye-bye.